My name is Arron Smyth, I'm 31 years old and I am an online trainer. Okay, I think with Netflix I'm not really into series all that much, but movies wise I'd be a big movie head and I like sort of like Goodfellas, The Irishman, sort of gangster style movies like, you know, Donnie Brasco, yeah, that type of movie. Trivia, ice cream. I am a massive ice cream fan, love ice cream, can't get enough. I'm not a big drinker, fortunately I'm not a big drinker, but you know, can't get over it. Like I would, favourite drink, I like Guinness now anyway. Okay, jeez. Hip hop music, hands down. So yeah, hip hop music has to be my absolute favourite. Wee bit of trap music when I'm training because I like that sort of heavy sort of beat when I'm training, and then holiday destination, hands down, has to be Universal Orlando. Probably one of the best holidays anyone will ever go on. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I don't really get embarrassed that easily. I'm not the type of guy that if something happens, I'm like, oh God, you know, I would just sort of own it because my family's quite, when my family get together, we're all into slagging and having a rip out of each other and stuff like that. So I would sort of be used to that little bit of embarrassment. So I wouldn't get embarrassed all that much. I know how to take a joke on the chin. Up to now would be having a successful online business. If, you know, I think with my background, coming from a single parent family, not having all that much growing up, you know, I think my greatest achievement is how successful I am right now, and the direction my business is going. My mum, hands down, is probably one of the biggest inspirations in my life. If I could bottle the positivity and the attitude that my mum has and sell it, I'd be a millionaire. I had a really bad lower back, I wouldn't say really bad lower back injury, I had a bad enough lower back injury sort of around my lower right hand side, and it's called your QL, your quadratus lumborum. Had a very bad issue there in terms of like, I was barely fit to sort of like lean myself out of bed in the mornings and stuff like that, so that's one of the reasons I reached out to Paul. The level of detail and the level of knowledge, I think a chiropractor isn't a really well known profession, let's say, or sort of area in Ireland. I think physios would be more sort of the sort of go-to thing for people. I had a couple of clients that had been to chiropractic before and they'd recommended them to me and said that they were very good, but I sort of never really took it all that much. But when I went to physios with my back issue and nothing was seeming to work, I went to Paul and reached out to Paul, and I just sort of went for a chiropractor's approach. So for me it was immediate relief. I was getting a really bad shock pain in my lower back, and it was almost like, you know, it was that type of pain where it would take your breath away. But as soon as I sort of came in and got all my adjustments done, now it didn't just immediately happen, but after that first adjustment there was a big amount of relief. But it took maybe 3-4 weeks and constantly coming back to sort of get readjusted and things just started to move better. I think at the very start I wasn't able to do Romanian deadlifts, like any sort of deadlifting at all, or any sort of movement from my hip I wasn't able to do. And then I got back to where I was deadlifting easily over 200 kilos without any issues. Knowledgeable, attention to detail, if you can class that as, you know, one small thing, and then professionalism, just kept it absolutely just professional the whole way through. Yeah, if there is a back issue, or if there's any sort of issue that you feel you need a chiropractor for, absolutely give it a crack, because I had been to physios with back issues and sort of it wasn't getting resolved, it just wasn't working, and then when I did come to chiropractics, it was a big game changer. Final jokes are shout out. Shout out to you guys behind the camera, man. You guys are working hard. Prism. All good.
That's it.